I have never flown an FPV drone before in my life. And I'm here with my buddy Jacob Howard, who is an FPV pro. He's been flying FPV drones for years. So he's gonna try to teach me as much as he can in less than 10 minutes and see how good I can get at flying FPV drones in a short amount of time. And hopefully by the end of this video, I'll be a somewhat decent flyer of FPV drones. Or maybe by the end of this video, I'll just be crashing them left and right and I'll be absolutely terrible. I've also got a few common questions for Jacob that I'm gonna ask about flying FPV drones, about what it takes to get into it and how much it costs and all of that. So stay tuned till the end of the video where I'll be asking him those questions and getting some more information about how you can get started into flying FPV drones. So we've got this whole course set up behind us with race gates where I will be flying against Jacob in a 1v1 race off where we're gonna see how many gates we can fly through in 2 minutes. And I already know that he's gonna destroy me, but I'm so curious to see what it's gonna be like because I've literally never even touched an FPV drone before. I've never done a flight simulator, which is usually what people recommend before getting into FPV drones. So we're gonna see how easy it is to pick up and how much practice you actually need to become a professional like Jacob here. So we're gonna get all suited up here. Jacob is gonna walk me through how to fly, how to use the different controls, and then we're gonna start our 1v1 competition. Okay, so this is my first time flying FPV. Walk me through the drone, the controller, everything that I need to know so I can pick it up and start flying it right away.
Okay, so obviously this is your drone. So this is an Emax Hawk Pro. It's one of the drones we recommend for people starting out. It's a very well-rounded drone you can use for a lot of purposes. This is your FPV camera here. So this is actually what you're gonna be seeing through with the goggles. So when you're flying, this is the camera you're gonna be seeing through. This right here is a GoPro mount, so you can actually mount a GoPro on it. And then here's your goggles right here. So these are the Eachines EV800Ds. Right here, they have an omnidirectional antenna. So basically it means if you fly behind yourself, you'll still get some good signal. So and then this antenna is your patch antenna. So this is gonna be more directional. So it's gonna give you more of like when you're facing the drone itself, it's gonna give you that better signal. These goggles can actually pop out. So you can actually just watch them with like other people. So they're great viewing goggles. And we can also do what's called DVR or direct video recording. So we can record what this camera right here sees and what we're seeing through the goggles. So that will be useful as well. So this is our transmitter, or TX as it's often called. Each of these switches has a different purpose. For example, on this drone, if you flip this switch up, it'll arm the motors so that they will start spinning, but they won't actually start taking off until you start giving it throttle. So these sticks right here, these are called gimbals. So this is how you're gonna control your drone. The left stick right here controls throttle by going up and down, and it controls yaw by going left and right. And on the right side, you control roll by going left and right, and you control pitch by going forward and back.
All right, so we've got the remote. What if I just end up being like a prodigy that first try, I just nail it and you're completely floored?
I will eat my goggles.
If I'm a prodigy and just nail it first try.
That's how sure I am of how foreign FPV is to our body and our experience.
Oh man.
I will eat these goggles if he's a prodigy and he takes off and he's fine. I give him no more than 10 seconds in the air before he has to disarm or crash.
I am absolutely terrified.
Here we go, start the timer.
Should I do it?
Yeah, take off.
Okay, start the timer. I'm taking off in 3, 2, 1. Holy. I'm doing it. Oh, pitch it back.
Oh, disarm, disarm, disarm.
Oh, disarm.
Oh!
Okay, stop the timer. How long did I keep it in the air? That was crazy. I feel like I had somewhat of control for the first like 5 seconds, and then I just had no idea what was going on. It started rolling forward, so I tried to correct it to roll back, and then from there, it lost me.
So basically, you went up about 150 feet up in the air, and you dropped straight down from there.
How did I go so high?
That's the thing. You have unbelievable control with this thing.
Oh my gosh, the potential.
I feel like I'm so powerful. So
I honestly felt like I was just like right above those soccer nets and I was just kind of like floating there, but I was in reality still just
oh yeah, you were almost pointing straight up.
Because I still had the throttle going.
Yep. You were in the air for about 15 seconds. You were flying for about 6. You fell for a long time.
Beat my record.
Okay, so the drone sustained almost no damage. I actually can't see about anything. And it fell like this at 150 feet up. But that's how durable these drones can be made. So go ahead and start. Very good. Go ahead and pitch forward a little bit. Okay, bring back on the pitch a little. So that will really control your speed. Pitch controls your speed more than throttle does in most circumstances. So you're doing pretty good. Throttle up, so you just about hit the ground there. So it's really hard to tell when you're facing things. You're actually drifting a little bit towards the trees. So go ahead and turn around. So yaw left, bring down the throttle, down the throttle, down the throttle.
Yeah, down the throttle.
Yeah, bring it down.
It's still spinning.
Okay, bring it back up, bring it back up. Okay, bring it down, slowly, just slowly.
Oh.
Okay, so pitch back. Now turn back around towards us. You're doing
no,
great.
I'm losing it.
That's okay. Disarm.
I got so scared. I didn't know what direction I was facing anymore. I was
really
flying
good
for like 30 seconds.
You were. That was incredible. That was really good. So you're a prodigy in your own right.
Wow, that
Okay,
was crazy.
I'm gonna bring her back. Okay, so for this, we're going to try and get you through one of the gates. And yeah, let's take off here.
All right.
Oh.
I hit it!
You technically went through it.
So I just flew an FPV drone for the first time. I flew it probably 4 or 5 times, ended up crashing into a tree, but we got it out. So now we're gonna move on to the next section of the video where we will be going on a 1v1 to see who can fly it through these gates and who can get through the most number of gates in 2 minutes. So Jacob's gonna fly first and then I'll take my shot and we'll see who can get through the most gates. I'll be happy, honestly, if I could get through 1 or 2. He'll get quite a few. So we'll head into that section now. Jacob, go ahead and gear up and let's see how many gates you can fly through in 2 minutes. So in 2 minutes of flying, Jacob went through the gates 34 times and I only went through 3 times. So it definitely shows how much experience it takes to get into something like this and how much practice you need. For me, I've only been flying for like an hour and I was able to get it through a couple times, but nowhere close to how many times Jacob was able to get it through. It was much easier just flying in the open space and being able to see where I'm at. Trying to go through these tiny, I mean, you'd say it's probably 3 feet wide, 3 feet high. It's also a lot harder flying close to the ground because you have to keep the throttle at a certain level or else once it cuts out, you're so close to the ground that it just dies. So it's definitely a lot easier flying around in the open space up above. I could see how this is much more advanced drone techniques. So now I've got a couple questions that I want to ask Jacob about getting into FPV and all of that. So first question for you, Jacob, how much does it cost to get into FPV?
So that can really depend on what you're hoping to get into. If you're hoping to get into like right away a more expensive unit that you can get more like cinematic FPV shots, stuff like that, it could cost you anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000 depending on the setup you want. We recommend people usually start off a little smaller. Something like the Hawk Pro. This drone alone, pre-built, sent to your door. All you have to do is put the props on and bind it to your controller and your goggles, and you can start flying, and it'll be about $230. So then, of course, you have other prices such as the goggles, which are going to be, anywhere between $100 and, upwards to $800. Then you have your controller, which can be anywhere from $100 to a couple $100. And then, of course, batteries. They will be one of the parts that break a lot. Props will break a lot. You can expect to, with starting out like something like the Hawk Pro in our setup that we recommend, anywhere between $500 to about $800 to start out. And this, like we saw today, I mean, this thing took a beating and kept on, just moving.
How much practice would you say does it take until you're able to get professional looking shots?
I put in about 10 hours in the simulator before I flew my first real drone, and I was still not that great. I mean, I was pretty good. I didn't crash for my first several flights, but still, until I was getting actual cinematic, really good footage that I really wanted to use, I would say I'd put in at least 40 hours of practice.
In your opinion, what is the future of FPV? I saw someone build a larger FPV drone and they put a red on it. Do you feel like things are going that way?
So I would say the future FPV is going to be pretty much like anything else we've seen in the camera world. So we see it start out small with people not really paying attention to it. Then it starts getting bigger and bigger and more people start using it to where we're now at the point where new cameras are coming out that are filming 12K, but it's just developing so much because of the need. So I see, yes, there's definitely more of a future coming as long as we keep it going. As long as we keep putting our money into it, investors are going to see that, wow, we need to be putting more money into it too, because it'll just continue to develop.
What could you charge clients when flying FPV? Is there a way to make money from it, or is it purely just recreational?
For most of the time, it's called a hobby because that's where most of it has come from. But it is becoming more and more a thing that you can actually do with clients. So I have a videography business, and I have done filming for such brands as Hyundai, Timberline helicopters. So I've actually been able to legally fly around helicopters while they're doing operations with FPV drones.
Wow.
So I've been able to integrate it into the work I've been doing. If you're good at it, you could charge anywhere from $500 for a simple shoot to thousands if you're doing an entire video off it. There are several people who can do real estate tours entirely with an FPV drone. Wow. They don't have to do anything else, it's just an FPV drone.
Guys, you can check out Jacob online. He has a full online course called FPV Unlocked that teaches you everything you need to know to get into flying FPV drones, what to buy, how to fly, what simulators to use, all of that. How many videos would you say you have in that course?
We have over 75 videos, almost 8 hours of content so far. So you can actually go from knowing absolutely nothing, like Nick, to within 8 hours later of watching videos to being a pro like some of our students are right now that have gone through it.
Yeah, so like I always say, it's always better to receive that education and to have a personal mentor that can walk you through how to improve and progress. So thanks again for walking me through this. It's been awesome flying it for the first time and flying it for a couple hours here with you. I did crash it a couple times, did crash it into a tree, but it was an absolute blast. I definitely feel like this is something that I'm gonna have to get more into. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to check out Jacob in the description below, and we'll see you in the next one.